Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's on Disney Plus live here on YouTube. So big hello and welcome to everybody in the live chat. So you can see we've got Nox Wave, Bubba Trolling, and also Matt. So just wait for everybody else to join in. We've got a few people joining in now. So this live stream we do every single week, and we sort of do questions from our Patreon and our YouTube channel members that they've been able to submit in advance. We also have the live chat going on right now on YouTube, so you can send in your questions through that as well. And generally, I kind of jump in between the live chat and the pre-done questions in advance. You can also use the super chat function as well to send in questions as well. If you aren't a channel member, you can do so to join in, or you can use the super chat function, all of which helps support the channel, supports the website, the podcast, and everything that I do. There is polls as well. I'll be doing little polls and stuff right through the live stream. Anyone can vote on them. You don't have to be a particular member. But yeah, so that's it. So this week, it looks like all of our time zones have realigned because America's time changed this morning. So you should be on the same time as normal. I will say it is fireworks night. It is Guy Fawkes night here in the UK, and there is fireworks going off left, right, and center outside. So if you do hear fireworks, that's what that is. It's a big night. So you have July the 4th. We have Guy Fawkes night for fireworks night. Right. Lots of questions today. Unsurprisingly, there's quite a lot about Hulu this week because, well, there's been a kind of a big announcement with the fact that Disney are going to be buying out the rest of Comcast's stake. And that looks like that's all going to be going through by the 1st of December, though there's a few little things in there as well that don't necessarily mean that Disney's quite getting away with the amount that they, I mean, they kind of put out a thing of what we expect to pay. Well, what you expect to pay and what's actually going to have to be paid, two very different things, but that'll be worked out at a later date by a number of different banks that are working out the volume. So I've asked you in the question, how much do you think you're going to be? How much they're going to be paying less than 8 billion, between 8 and 10 billion, between 10 and 15 billion, and over 15 billion. Now I think over 15 billion personally. I think whoever's going to value Hulu at well over like 45 billion for the whole thing, maybe hasn't really understood what's going on right now with streaming. But hello to Julian. Thank you very much for becoming a member. Thank you so much for that support. All right. Yes, so Kayla just said last week's was at 3 p.m. Now it's at 2 p.m. Okay, so nice Sunday afternoon for you guys. I've just had my nice Sunday afternoon. Right, so let's just start off. We've got quite a few on Hulu today. So Mahmoud says, what will happen to the ownership of Hulu after December the 1st? Does it mean that Disney will be the sole owner, and what will happen after that date? So looking at what the official like information came through on the website, I'm just going to bring up so I can read through exactly what it was. So the idea really is Disney are now going to be able to buy out the rest of that stake, which obviously is a big thing. Now they in the article that they put in that they on the 1st of December that will be going through. So this is basically that looks to be when they get full control, because Comcast has exercised its rights to the put call agreement, which now means that Disney has to buy out Comcast's stake. So it says, under the agreement, on December the 1st, Disney will expect to pay NBC Universal approximately $8.61 billion, representing the value of the guarantee. Under the appraisal process agreed to by Disney, it will be valued as of September the 30th, and its value will be ultimately determined to be greater than the floor value. Disney will then pay the rest of it, and this will be expected to be done in 2024. So it looks like the deal got made that essentially on the date, 30 days after it's been called, Disney pay them the minimum floor price and they get control of the company. Meanwhile, while the valuation is being worked out, and then it will pay accordingly whatever it's valued at. So it could be it could be more. I think there's a thing that doesn't seem to sometimes get brought up, is the fact that Comcast's stake in Hulu has been sort of devaluing over years because they've not been investing in it. So that often doesn't get brought in because we don't really know how that's going to work out. So this coming Wednesday night is going to be the investors' quarterly financial results, and it's the end of the year one. This one's going to be a big one where there's going to be questions and answers, and this is where I think we're all expecting Disney to finally reveal more information about what it's doing with Hulu. It's been very quiet on it. It hasn't done really very much announcements. There's, they've said by the end of the year that Hulu content will be available within Disney Plus in the United States. So this week would be the time to be starting announcing anything like that. Now, I'm going to be honest. I would not be at all surprised if Disney just popped that end of the year target maybe into early 2024. I don't want it to. I really don't want it to. I want it to happen like December the 2nd. But if it did happen, I wouldn't be surprised by that. I'm just going to put this out there that there might be a chance that they might just go, yeah, we're going to put it back. I think December's still when they're going to do it. If they've got full control on December the 1st, then December the 2nd, I would imagine then they can kind of pull the trigger. I would guess maybe the week later, that would be when they'd start doing it. But now the valuation date has been put as September the 30th. Whatever Disney do with Hulu now has no bearing on the price of what it is. So that's a key thing. We're probably going to, we're already starting to see Disney pushing Hulu and Disney Plus together a lot more, like with Echo. But I think they're going to start rolling things in together a lot more. Matt says, when do you think Hulu will be fully integrated into Disney Plus? So I think we'll be getting the basic content from Hulu, like all the 20th television, the ABC, the 20th, that kind of stuff, like it's already on Disney Plus internationally, will end up being available in Disney Plus in the US if you are a subscriber. I think that's the easiest thing for them to do because they essentially got the framework already in place because of how it works here in the UK and around the world. They've kind of got that in place. I'm not sure if there will be a full merger, aka Hulu's completely gone. Maybe not for a year, maybe even 18 months. I mean, I think Disney might want to get it speeded up and do it. But at the same time, they're going to want to have a bit of a runway of getting people moved over to it. I would expect maybe, well, I would thought 6 months to a year would be the minimum because they're going to want to try and get as many people over and kind of have the plan and put out the word that it's happening and kind of. So that's when I think that's when the full merger will happen. I mean, Disney could really kind of like pull the trigger and just go, oh, we're doing this like in early 2024. But I would imagine they're going to want to just spread it out a little bit more than that, get people used to it. Just looking here at the live chat, Khaled says, as a current Hulu subscriber, from what I can see, it's clearly status quo with some cross-branding. That's the answer to that. Yeah, so because there were so many questions about Hulu, it was a bit like trying to pick one was kind of quite different. Yeah, I think the status quo will definitely be this place as a Hulu subscriber. You're not really going to see much different for a while. Noxway thinks it might merge in early 2024. I think a full merger in terms of that there is only Disney Plus and Hulu is just either a section on Disney Plus and that. I still think that's probably a while off away yet. Kenneth says, since many feel that Marvel's is expected to be a box office dud, does this mean that Marvel Studios will stop making woman lead films? And also, would any of the actors from the film leave the MCU? Tricky. This Marvel's film is really kind of it's a little bit. I feel a little bit sad, to be honest with it all, because the trailers and everything that I've been seeing for this film, and it comes out this week, I think it looks really fun. I'm really looking forward to watching it. I really enjoyed Captain Marvel. I did enjoy most of Miss Marvel. I wouldn't say it was all of it, but Miss Marvel was a fantastic character. And it is a little bit disappointing to see, like a movie with 3 female leads with superheroes is suddenly just been like, I would almost say there is definitely, it feels like an internet kind of hate campaign again, and like dumping on the Marvels is just seen as the thing to do. And I honestly, if you want to go see it, you go see it. You don't need to worry about what anybody else thinks online. I'm looking forward to watching it. I think it is going to struggle at the box office. I think it's got multiple issues going against it. I think trying to compare it to Captain Marvel is unfair because that was between Infinity War and Endgame when I would say Marvel was at its peak. Superhero fandom was at its peak at that point. We are definitely in a decline of superhero films and shows and stuff. The interest is much lower in general. You haven't had the actors strike to be able to go out they've not been able to go out and promote it, and I think that would help a little bit and get the awareness out of it, because all they've really got is trailers. They're not really being able to put anybody on like The One Show or Good Morning America or anything like that. That to get the word out that the film's out. I think that is hurting a little bit. I think people are burnt out from it. I don't think people are interested in Marvel as they used to be. I think there is an element of people are burnt out, and it's not just. I don't think it's just Marvel. I think this is across the board. This isn't just. It's this superhero fatigue. It's hitting all the brands, because you've got DC completely just basically has been destructed, and now they're like rebuilding it. The Gen V series has not really been as popular as The Boys was. I think as a whole, I think we're going to see a big course correction. I think we're going to see a lot less. I don't think people want to watch superheroes constantly. I think there is still going to be an audience. I still think there's going to be an audience, but we're going to need to have cheaper movies, not as big. And I think Endgame was peak superhero. We're going to be moving into a new era of what kids are growing up, wanting to watch different things. I don't think superheroes are going away. I don't think that in the slightest, but I just don't think they can sustain 6 to 8 movies a year and 6 or 7 series a year. And again, this is not just Marvel. This is DC, Amazon, Netflix. There's just too many of them. Right now, if I was Amazon or Sony or Netflix or anything like that, or DC, and you're looking at you're building your slate. You got all these films and shows like Silk and all the rest of it. The market is not interested the same way that it was like 2-3 years ago. It's overcooked. Babak says, when Disney Plus started, Kevin Feige said you don't need to watch the Disney Plus shows to keep up with it, but it seems that it's changed. Do you think that was a Chapek thing to have more integrated shows? There was always a thing where they wanted to have the series more interconnected with the movies and have them feel part of it. But I think there was always the idea that when you had a movie that you could be able to introduce these characters without having watched the show. Now, whether or not there is that thing of some people say like there's too much like homework and they don't want to watch all this stuff and they're getting a bit confused and all the rest of it. I think there is an element of that. They used to be able to just watch a movie. You could watch a movie and you would have a start, middle, and end, and that was the end of it. But like with the MCU, it's interconnected with everything. But then I would look back and think like, most films really we're like 30, 40 projects into the MCU. I think just scaling back and making them a little bit more standalone might be better for the general audience. Keenan says, will premium channels like Starz, Cinemax, Showtime, etc. still be on Hulu after it merges with Disney Plus? So I think we're aware that with the content being added into Disney Plus, none of the content from those brands or from those add-ons will be available within Disney Plus. We know that's going to be the case. So Showtime is currently in the process of kind of being wound down anyway, because obviously that's merged in with Paramount Plus. And I think by the end of the year, Showtime's not going to exist. Starz, they just announced this last week that they're closing down here in the UK and in Australia. They've already been removed from Latin America. They rebranded the Lionsgate Plus. They're trying to separate it out. I don't think Starz is long for the world. I think they've abandoned globalization. They're closing it down, like here in the UK. Starz is on its way out, and I suspect Lionsgate is just going to license out to whoever it is, and Starz gets closed down at some point. No one's going to buy it because anyone can build a streaming service. There's not enough content on there. I think Starz is one of those ones that will just go. Cinemax. Now, I assumed that Cinemax at some point, I know they've got Max. Max is still available on Hulu. There could just be a deal from the factor point of view that I think that will end up just being removed off of Hulu. I think we're going to see. It depends how much if Disney's not making a lot of money through that content, they might not want to bother. Bubba Trolling says, do you think that Disney will tell us about the new app on Wednesday? Yeah, so in terms of it like being this new one app experience, it is just in Disney Plus. He did state in the interviews and stuff afterward that it will just be available in Disney Plus. It's not going to be a new app called something else or anything like that. Let's jump in now and see what we've got. Lionsgate is licensing out their content to Peacock in the US. As Starz is essentially a lame duck. Cinemax is going to be merged with Max, like Showtime is. Yeah, this is the thing: is those hubs are going to start slowly disappearing. Knoxwave says, I heard that during post-production of Echo, it was originally going to have 8 episodes, but after the production issues had been found by Kevin Feige, it was unreleasable, and they decided to reshoot the series. I wouldn't be at all surprised if they have done some reshoots to kind of clean it up, strip it down to. I think stripping it down to 5 episodes might work. I'm hoping that the trailer seems to have got a lot of people's attention. Maybe if they've like redone it and redone the theming a little bit, done a lot of post work on it to make it usable, trim it right back, 5 episodes, drop it all at once. Therefore, people might be a little bit more forgiving, and also within 2-3 weeks, people have forgotten and moved on. So, and if they've essentially like do a load of like more violent stuff and bits and pieces, I mean, I wouldn't be at all surprised if they maybe were able to reshoot some of this stuff back in like May and June while they were filming Daredevil Born Again, or do something like that. Yeah, wouldn't be at all surprised. Kay says, and the fact that consumer behaviors are changing regarding cinema since the last Scorsese film is facing trouble at the box office. That's why major studios must temper expectations and lower budgets. I don't think it's just studios. I think people in general have to. This whole idea that every movie if it wasn't a hit unless it was $1 billion, I think that those days are long gone. I think budgets are really going to be trimmed down a little bit. The Martin Scorsese films, I'm going to be honest, they are not my cup of tea. I'm not a huge fan of his stuff. They've just never really appealed to me. This new one, I've got like zero interest in it. And I'll be honest, having him kind of putting out tweets and videos and stuff and sneering down on everything that I enjoy, well, I don't really like your stuff, so I'm not going to bother. I think there is an element of the fact of he's, he might get cinephiles into his stuff but the mass audience is not interested in his stuff, and also older audiences are much less likely to go cinemas. And I think there is a big change to it. And I think we're definitely coming into a new era where these $1 billion hits are a lot further behind. You think now we are. We've only got say 2 months left of the year. We've had Super Mario Brothers and Barbie are the only $2 billion films. 2. So there's going to be a big change. Ricardo says this Friday, Spider-Man Far From Home was finally added to Disney Plus. At last, we have the Infinity Saga complete on the service. Yeah, you think you do, yeah. Here in the UK, we don't have those two, so yeah. Kaylee says, I'm going to go see it regardless. This is my favourite actress in it. That said, I'm hoping the actors in the MCU do more general entertainment as comic book movies are becoming niche like pro wrestling. Yeah, I think there's always going to be an audience for superhero films and shows. I think there always will be. But I think they're going to have to get the budgets way under where they are. I think this whole move to doing street level characters in Disney Plus series is the fact that they cannot afford to do these massive, great big special effects heavy shows like She-Hulk and Secret Invasion. They're spending way too much when you could do a street level show at a much lower budget, and you can still do some special effects and stuff, but you maybe only do it in a couple of episodes and stuff. For me, like She-Hulk, the cost of that show was incredible. Knoxwave says, after seeing the Echo trailer, I was mind blown finding Marvel make a dark series like the Defenders saga. Kind of wish Moon Knight and Secret Invasion could have been. I don't think Secret Invasion needed to be. I don't think that needed to be like that at all. Moon Knight could have done, but I think they obviously it was. I think it is a 14, so it's not made for kids. Ricardo says there is now a huge chance Hulu could be released internationally, considering in some countries the Star Hub on Disney Plus doesn't exist. The Hulu Hub on Hotstar could be a print for things to come. Yeah, so I do not think under any stretch of the imagination that Hulu is going to launch as a single app in any country. No chance, because they don't have the content for it. Now, when you say about the Star Hub not existing, yeah, in Latin America, you don't have the Star Hub, but you have Star Plus. So therefore, that is where it all is. I think you are going to see a combination of the two coming together at some point. I think they will work it out that there'll be like maybe Star Plus carry. They will sort stuff out. I think once the US market gets sorted, it'll be easier. The fact that there was a Hulu hub on Hotstar to me definitely was the indication that something is going to happen. But there's obviously that big question now of what's going to happen with Hotstar and Star India. And I would then say, in general, the Star Hub. Will we find out this coming Wednesday the plan? Because I wouldn't be at all surprised if they were to announce some sale or some partial sale or something. This would be the day they do it. This would be the week they need to do it, because they're going to need to offset that cost of buying Hulu and getting rid of some assets. I think that will be a key aspect there, but I do think that will come in. Ricardo says Chapek was always focused a lot more on a lot of content. That was the downside with general entertainment in the US. They wanted to engage audience with Marvel and Star Wars only. And I think this has been the biggest problem with Disney Plus in the US was they tried to create some shows like Turner and Hooch and Willow and National Treasure and stuff, but they were still trying to keep within that like family-friendly audience. And I don't think the audience is there the same anymore. I don't think people watch television in that same idea of the family all sitting there and watching that kind of show works the same. And they've been so heavily reliant on Marvel and Star Wars because Hulu was just sucking up all of these, the general entertainment content. And the simple truth is that when you add in Disney Plus, when you put it all into one zone, you're then going to have what you need. And I think that is a key thing. I'm just going to bring up this just so American viewers, in case you've not seen it already. So let's just bring up this one here. So obviously here's what Disney Plus looks like. I'm just going to close this one off just so we can see and get rid of that question. So like here is obviously Disney Plus here in the UK, and you can see here we've got solar opposites. You've got Simpsons, you've got, they're promoting all these different things. They're all in here. Culprit's a brand new like thriller coming in this week. The simple truth is, when you've got it all in one place, you're less like here in the UK, we are not as reliant on Marvel and Star Wars. There's something for adult to watch. When Loki finishes this week, you're still going to have new shows dropping like constantly, and that is a major difference. Hulu already had it there. It was there, but it was missed, and I think that's definitely a key thing to be aware of. That they had the answer, they just were stuck until they sort out this Hulu thing. Right, let's see where we are. Babak says, do you think the rework of Daredevil will bring back more characters from the Netflix series like Karen and Foggy? I would say right now there's much more chance of it now that they're rewriting the series than there was beforehand, but it does seem like there's a better possibility. Mamo says, what project do you think Marvel Studios would do under the Marvel Spotlight banner? I wouldn't be surprised if Daredevil Born Again goes under it, and I don't know what else we've got coming up, because I don't know if Wonder Man is still going ahead, and we don't really know much beyond that at the minute. I mean, maybe a Werewolf by Night 2 or a Moon Knight 2 or something. Keenan says the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was on Disney Plus last night and couldn't find it. Did I have to click on it ahead of the live streaming? I only saw it after because it was like midnight when it came in. So I do know sometimes with Disney Plus with this live stuff, and I found it in the past, they have a tendency not to promote it very well. They put maybe a banner on the front page. You have to kind of search for it. The discoverability of these live events sometimes is shockingly bad. So so they don't even start with like new on Disney Plus or on that. They just think that home banner is enough. But obviously, if you skip forward, you might not see it then. Babak says, what else might... Oh, we did that one. Was that the same one? Oh, yeah. So basically, Babak asked the same question as Mama's previous question. So there we go. Tim says, will Lucasfilm delay the second season of Andor as they haven't finished filming the second season? Yeah, so they still had a little bit more of filming to do. I don't know if they have finished. I don't think they have. I would have said no like 6 months ago. I think this will get kicked back into 2025, and this will be the one series we get in 2025. I think they're going to just, ease off a little bit, I think. And especially if it's got 12 episodes, just spread it out a bit, I think. And then maybe leave Mando or Ahsoka to come back in 2026. I think the days of us getting 2 or 3 Star Wars shows a year are long gone. Long gone. Mamo says, how do you think Disney will market Hulu originals and other content such as ABC, FX, Freeform after the launch of the One Up experience? I think Disney are going to lean on that Hulu brand for a while to get American audiences used to the concept that this stuff is in Disney Plus. So I think you're going to start seeing like what we're seeing with Echo, where that dual branding coming in for a lot of these shows. And they might do this for 6 months to a year, where they'll start just using that dual branding to kind of that is in the Hulu. Oh, it's Hulu. It's not, it's just. And then, I mean, here in the UK, they had to do like loads of advertising about the fact that there's something else on there, there's something different in there, there's something for adults. There will be a lot of advertising campaign pushing the fact that Disney Plus has stuff that's not there. And in some ways, this is a big advantage that Disney Plus has in the US with that Hulu brand. The Hulu brand means something. When they launched Star here in the UK, they didn't mean anything. They were having to introduce something new, whereas in the Hulu, instantly you're going to know what that is much better. Alicia says, what are your predictions for Disney's financial full year and Q4 earning results or press releases before or after? So I think we're going to get a lot more detail on their plans for Hulu moving forward. I think that will be the case of maybe a date for when they're going to put the Hulu content in and reveal like their idea for where they're going now that they've kind of got this thing sorted. I wouldn't be at all surprised if they announce that they have made a deal with Star India or something like that to kind of offset some of the costs, maybe even say that they've sold off some of the ABC local networks, some of the little independent channels, just to kind of offset some of the costs. I wouldn't be at all surprised if they announced that somebody that has maybe brought the rest of like 30% of ESPN to kind of. They're going to want to offset some of that cost from the Hulu thing. So I think they're going to need to announce some kind of sale or something like that. So that's what I think is going to be the focus. And just about, I would say, because this will be in some ways like he's been back. He came back, November last year. Really about setting out what next year is going to be, setting out that, that they are listening to audiences. Hopefully by then, maybe the strike gets resolved, this week, I mean, I'm hoping it could be, today, maybe, if I can cross any more fingers and stuff. So that might be a help. Tim says, with the earning results coming up in Australia on Wednesday, will Disney announce the ad-supported version coming to Disney Plus in Australia? So I believe it's supposed to be in 2024. I wouldn't be surprised if they hold off on that maybe till the next quarter. Some fireworks going off. Dana says, so December the 8th is when I think Disney will add Hulu into Disney Plus. Do you think they'll announce on Wednesday that they'll be removing the Star brand and making it into Hulu? I don't know. I don't know about the Star and the Hulu stuff. I think it depends if they make the announcement for Star India. They could do. They might hold off on a little bit. They might not want to upset everything straight away. In some ways, I don't know if that might be a little bit confusing for international audiences. They might just want to hold off on that and stuff. Colin says, what do you think will happen when Lionsgate Plus content, when it's in the UK service, closes next year? I feel that Godfather of Harlem will switch to Disney Plus, as that's an ABC show. Yeah, I think most of it's just going to get licensed out. I think that's the key thing. Let's have a look at the live chat. Let's see what we've got here. Noxwave says, and this is regarding Echo, making it 5 episodes. I wish after phase 5 ends, they stop making 6-episode format. I don't have a problem with a 6-episode format if they use it properly. I think we're going to start moving over to more longer seasons, but cheaper seasons. I think we're going to start seeing more of the street level ones, less special powers, cheaper things, and maybe to be able to just focus on like one particular TV show. And that's kind of a little bit more simpler. A bit like in the days when we used to just have Daredevil or Agents of Shield, and like we only had one or two, rather than this constant stream of essentially like just limited series and stuff. I mean, I would love to see more She-Hulk, but I think it's too expensive and the audience isn't going to grow. I'd love to see more Moon Knight, more Hawkeye. It would be great to see maybe a team-up series of something that maybe they could do like that. But I don't know. Very tricky to see what's going to happen with it all. Kayla says, I find it interesting that Echo is a dual release. My guess is that TVMA Marvel content will be branded on Hulu once Hulu is merged into Disney+. I don't think they need to. I think it's just the fact that they're branding it with Hulu because, again, internationally, it's just called a Disney Plus show. No different than Marvel or anything like that. I think, but you might, a bit like Deadpool. A bit like, you see Deadpool in there. It's not under there, but I'm not sure. Keenan says, if or when Starz is going to go, what are they going to do with the back catalogue? So I'd imagine Starz would either be trying to sell that license on to somebody else, if they could, because they're trying to split it off into its own separate company. And I don't know if they're doing that just so they can write that off and close the business down or do something or sell the assets back. Because I mean, in some ways, if you were Disney right now, you might be saying to Starz, going, look, can we just have all of our content back? just write them a check. Ricardo says, like I've said in other lives, Lionsgate will have the Marvel library and content doesn't own yet. Does it got any Marvel content? I didn't realize they had there. With Starz Lionsgate closing off in lots of countries, it's hard to imagine Lionsgate to be on sale or sell its assets to different companies. Disney could have Marvel animated films. Yeah, well, Lionsgate obviously is going to be its own separate individual company, and Starz they're trying to spin that off into a separate company. I don't really get what it's almost like. Are they trying to put Starz over here so that when they close down that business, it doesn't affect Lionsgate? That's what I'm kind of thinking. This whole idea that they're closing down in so many countries, they're just going to be focused on US only. Maybe I think they're all reading the room right now of there is just too many streaming services. You cannot subscribe to all these different streaming services, and these small ones are going to start fizzling out. Kenneth says, I do predict that Star Plus in Latin America will eventually become the ESPN at DTC. Yep, 100% agree on that one. Kenneth says, I do know the sale of Star India to Reliance won't be smooth sailing since the Sony merger. That said, I could see Disney selling the ABCs as well as shutting Freeform. Yeah, I definitely think Freeform is on the go. I think they could sell off those ABC channels because I kind of look at it and go, well, there's like 260 ABC channels and Disney only own 8 of them. So why not just get a few billion and get out of it and just be done with it? Ricardo says, is the Quiz Lady only available in English? I don't know. Let's have a look. It's a fun movie. It's okay. I don't think it's too bad. Let's just try and see where it says. I don't want to stop it before it gets going. There we go. Like stopped it first. So now we got audio is available in English, Espanol, Latin America, French, Italian, Polish, Portuguese, and Turkish. And then you've got loads and loads of subtitles. So no, there's quite a bit here in the UK anyway. So yeah, hopefully that answers. Nox Wave. I'm going to just make sure I'm not still. I don't want to be downloading Quiz Lady. Right, there we go. Nox Wave says, since we've only got one episode left of Loki season 2, I would love it if we get renewed for season 3, maybe in the post-credit scenes. Like I am 100% hoping they do, because I actually think this is what they should lean in on more of. And it kind of feels like they need maybe another Loki series to get up to going into the super secret wars and stuff. I hope they do. It doesn't feel like it's ready to end, does it? I feel like we've only just got going again. It's like 5 episodes in. It's like, and we're stopping. It's like, okay, we've not really got going. Ricardo says, last week for the first time was a Lego's Avengers special called Co-Red. I thought they would add the other Lego specials that they removed from Lego, but didn't. Again, it might come down to licensing. Lego might own them, or whoever owns them might end. Depends on how much it is. Noxwave says, do you think Disney Plus Day isn't happening this year? We're almost at the 4-year anniversary of Disney Plus. Right. So Disney Plus Day was a Chapek thing. So Disney Plus Day the first time round, you have to remember as well that they were still trying to promote it. They were trying to get it in. Loading up for one day, like 4 or 5 movies, all those shows, all those things, they are going to have that data from those 2 days and like looking at it and going, how many more subscribers did we get? And how much were we spending on original content? I mean, essentially loading up with like 4 or 5 films, all those originals, all those shows all at once and dropping them. It kind of become along the lines of, was that actually helping? Were more people watching it, or would it have been better to spread it out? A Disney Plus day, it costs money, but at the same time, at the theme parks, was it really making a big difference? I mean, I was at Disney Plus day last year in Disneyland in California. We got given all little hats that you can see here. Over here, I got a hat and I got some badges and stuff. Great. And, they did a few little things, but it wasn't that big. And, doing the drones, they were spending a lot of money out on it. But how many people was it bringing in? Doing the announcements. Let's be honest. Disney announced so much in advance that they've kind of locked themselves into a problem by announcing too much in advance. And again, look at this year. Disney can't do they couldn't do a Disney Plus day and say, like, we're doing a Disney Plus day, because people are going to be expecting 3 or 4 Star Wars shows to be announced, 2 or 3 Marvel shows to be announced. I mean, they could do maybe a Disney Plus day when they add in the Hulu content, but I don't think that really fits in with like doing something at the theme parks or on the cruises. Maybe they just found it just didn't work. That cross synergy it wasn't cost effective. And I think last year doing them just a tweet of just like announcing a new show every half an hour just doesn't really work a lot. More fireworks going off. Ryan says, is the ad tier available in the UK and Ireland, or is it just in the UK? I think it's just in. So it launched. So I'm just trying to, because I was just trying to think actually, because I don't remember seeing. Right. So it just says on the press release, it just says the UK. So it didn't, and I'm just going to do, I'm just going to find the exact list of countries. I don't want to get it wrong. Ad supported. And here we go. So they announced that it was launching in various markets. I'll find the list. Where is it? Why is it you can't find it when you want it? No, I can't see that. I don't think Ireland is. Ireland might be on the next wave. Obviously, as well, Ireland does have a lot less population, so that might be why they did that. Right, let's jump back into. Let's do another poll. So we've got 87 votes. About 41% of you think it's going to be between 8 and 10 billion. 25 think it's less than, and 15% more. Okay, so let's end that poll. So let's do another poll. And start a poll. Right. So, when do you think Hulu content will be added to Disney Plus? Again, just US only, because we've already got it internationally. So, 1st December. So I'm just going to kind of pick like a couple of random dates. December. We'll go for the 15th. Early 2024. Okay, there we go. Boom, all yours. Right, let's go back into some of the questions. Here we go. Baba says, do you think Disney will put a TV MA warning before the show or movie? I'm guessing that's in reference to Echo. Well, first off, if you aren't on there might be some little warning beforehand. Like in general, generally when you start any movie, you'll have that little thing come up at the beginning. They might put a little flash on just to try and make sure people are aware. But let's be honest, if you are doing it, you're on a profile which hasn't been set up properly. They seem to be very open about the fact that you have to make sure that your mature settings are correct. Ultimately, it's down to the user. Keenan says Marvel Spotlight is kind of like DC Elseworlds, but the question is, will Marvel Spotlight have films so they can reboot the characters? Right. So there's a little difference here. Marvel Spotlight is not an alternate universe. It's not multiverse. It's nothing like that. All it is a series or something that is less connected to the MCU. It's still part of the MCU. It's not Elseworld where it's like an alternative universe or anything like that. It just, I think it's more about just separating it a little bit, so it's a bit more street, a little bit. So you don't necessarily, what happens in Echo is not going to affect what happens in the movies. Dana says, what are, say, your 5 to 7 predictions on the Hulu timeline to be fully integrated into Disney Plus, and what are they going to do with the live TV piece? Okay, so I'm going to put that one over to you as well. Let me know in the comments, what are some of your predictions for what you think is going to happen? So, step 1, marketing campaign to say that it's coming in. So that'll be kicking off, I would hope, pretty soon for December to get them in there. They'll then set out that in late 2024, the two services will merge. There'll be a heavy marketing campaign all of next year in the US getting people ready for it. You're going to start seeing content leaving Hulu. You're going to start seeing all the Comcast stuff leaving. You're going to see all those add-ons disappearing. Maybe other licensed content that they don't want anymore. They want to get rid of it before they move it all over to Disney. Let those deals expire. Let them run out. Those are key ones. I think the live TV one is an odd one. That's the one question of whether or not Hulu Live TV continues as it is, or whether or not they sell that to someone like YouTube or Free4, or maybe even just say, look, this is just not making enough money and it doesn't fit our future plans, and therefore we are actually going to abandon Hulu Live. I would imagine they're more likely going to want to try and maybe flog it. Flog, or at least flog the customers over to YouTube or Fubo or something like that. I'm not sure if live TV is that something that I don't know if they're going to want to have that in Disney Plus. I don't know. It doesn't necessarily fit, but maybe Hulu Plus Live TV carries on as its own separate app for a little bit longer, and it just includes Disney Plus and ESPN Plus in it. That might be a way of doing it. Mamo says, what are your final predictions for the earnings call? Again, I think updates on Hulu, an update on what's happening with India, maybe that they've sold some ABC networks, and just a focus on quality, brands, getting them so straight, and just being more aware of the world that they're in right now and just trying to pull back a little bit and stuff. Tim says, will any of the Disney Channel and Disney Junior magical holiday shows and specials be coming to Disney Plus in Australia? I'd imagine most of them will do. I mean, I can't see a reason why they wouldn't. Barbara, do you think that Disney will talk about the future of ABC at Q3? I think that this thing with ABC is, I think there's a little bit of a misunderstanding sometimes of like, is Disney going to completely sell the ABC network that goes across all the country in the US and they've got access to, and it gives them a massive audience? Or are they going to sell the 8 local stations that they own in places like Los Angeles, New York, and Chicago, and just get rid of those ones but keep the network? I don't think we're in an age where, and especially with ESPN, I think Disney still needs that channels to kind of do a lot of contracts and stuff. So I think they might sell some of the local ones but keep ABC as a. I think we're going to go down to 4 channels: Nat Geo, FX, Disney Channel, and ABC. Those are going to be your 4 core channels. Keenan says, how do I get the Disney bundle? Because I have Disney Plus and expires on November the 12th. So you should be able to go into your profile and select what you want. Now, if you've got the if all you've got is Disney Plus at the minute, you should have the option to be able to kind of do the bundle that you want. Maybe if you want Disney Plus and Hulu as the ad-free version or the ads version, you should be able to go into your profile and set that one there. If not, on the 12th, you should definitely have that option. Bowser says, when is Haunting in Venice being released in Belgium? It's still not available here. Yeah, they didn't release it here in the UK. Looks like Europe, we're having to wait a little bit longer. It might be because maybe the film is doing a lot better in cinemas here and they want to continue making money from it in cinemas. Or there was, I don't know. It seems, I mean, for the UK, I was kind of surprised we didn't get it. But at the same time, maybe it's just still doing well enough that they don't want to rush it. And also, rushing it for Halloween here in the UK and stuff is less impactful. Jonathan says, do you think the Skeleton Crew will be out first or the Acolyte will be out first? I think we'll get Skeleton Crew and Acolyte. They'll be our 2 2024 series along with the Bad Batch. I think those ones. Right, that's our pre-done questions. Now we're going to be live for the rest of the show, so feel free to come in. Probably aim for about another 15 minutes or so. If we run out of questions, then we might end it. Right, okay, so let's see where I got up to. Kaylee says, I know 2023 hasn't been a great year for entertainment and cinemas. That said, it was rewarding to see Shah Rukh Khan and Brie Larson return for their respective hiatus. Makes me happy. Good. Glad you enjoyed it. Chris says, do you think we will find out how successful the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction was for Disney? No. We'll probably never know. They will. Yeah. Knoxwave says, are you excited for the Hunger Games prequel film? Nope. I thought the movies were okay. Actually, I was on the train the other day coming back from London, and I'm 99% sure that I was on the train in the next seat over was one of the main actresses. I think she played the sister or something. I can't remember her name. No, I've got no interest in it. I wasn't I thought the first film was okay. I might watch it when it drops onto Netflix or something like that, but yeah, I'm not that fussed about it, to be honest. Kayla says, speaking of live TV, I asked Luke regarding the streaming bundles with cable causing a slow down in cord cutting. He said there might be, but more people will switch to on-demand only. I think there is going to be a certain audience that will stick with cable, but I think what you're going to start seeing is the companies are going to start going when they stop making money on it. And I think a lot of them are going to broadband only, but I think what they might want to start doing is it wouldn't surprise me if they start bundling your internet with some of these packages to try and get you get your internet from us, and you also get Disney Plus free, and you get Netflix, and you get Max, and that might be where the next stage goes on to these bundles and stuff. But yeah, I think ultimately the cable companies are trying to look for anything to get them a head start. Carl says, do you think they will do a small presentation for the Hulu integration like they did with the staff for the Hulu during the infamous Investors Day? No, I don't think they need to. I think they'll just do a couple of some fancy adverts, and that's it. I don't think a presentation in some ways really helps. I don't think they're going to do like an Investor Day or anything like that. I just don't think they need to. All they actually need to do is do an advert and go, like, look who's coming to Disney Plus, and show a load of Hulu shows and just say, parental controls and stuff, and that'll probably be about it. Knoxwave says, will Disney make a movie premiere for the Marvels without the actors? Since we've heard the Hunger Games prequel will have the actors attend and talk about the film. So the Hunger Games one is a Lionsgate film, and they managed to get a SAG-AFTRA exemption. So because they basically agreed to the terms that SAG wanted, so they've got around it. If the strike was to end maybe tonight, they might be able to attend the premiere later this week. I think there might be one. There's probably going to be a special press screening this week. I know there's one, I think, in London this week. I think there's one in LA. I think I saw someone say about that one. So if the strike's over, they might go to it, but I would not expect that this late notice for there to be a Marvel's premiere. They might be able to do some post or some extra promotion popping up on like late night TV or something like that to do it. They might be able to whiz around that quite quickly. I mean, if I was Disney, I'd get them all booked on as many chat shows as they possibly could, and as many like hot wings, and just get them out there. Kelly says, I still feel Disney will keep ABC, but no longer own the local stations. Yeah, that's what I think. And they will still license some news content with the stations for collaborations. I think we're going to see a shift. I think we are going to see a big shift in what they're doing. The question is, are those like daytime TV shows like The View and Good Morning America and stuff, are they, is that something they're going to want to continue to do? Can they offer them on Disney Plus? Very tricky to see where they're going. Keenan says, when do you think Universal will announce more Nintendo movies since Super Mario Brothers movie was super successful? Well, you've got to remember this whole strike thing. If you actually think about most of it, we've not really had hardly any announcements about anything new since really May. We've had a few things coming out, but in terms of, we've had a lot of unscripted stuff and documentaries and things, but in terms of actual new movies and things, we haven't really heard anything because they can't really announce anything. They can't announce they can't say, for example, we're making a Legend of Zelda film and it's going to star X, Y, and Z, because they can't do that because of the strike. So that's one of the big problems. That's why we're not really seeing a lot of announcements, because every like all the casting results would have had to be made before the strike was made. I suspect when the strike ends, then you're going to see all these announcements and stuff. But I still think we're going to see a lot less. As far as Nintendo, I don't know if Legends of Zelda, I'd imagine that they would maybe try and make an animated series of that one, maybe a Donkey Kong film. Yeah, they're going to be raiding the archive. I would imagine, to be honest, mainly would be like, can we do a Super Mario Brothers 2, where we, maybe do a Super Mario, a Luigi Haunted Mansion film or something like that. Ken says, speaking of Shah Rukh Khan, I saw LA Knight wished him happy birthday a few days ago on a video, and he responded to him. LA Knight definitely won in life. Yeah, I've still got to watch I've watched 3/4 of Crown Jewel this morning, and I've finished up watching, and I've just got the LA Knight match. I know he's lost, but I didn't think he would win, to be honest. But I think he's going to be the guy that will beat. I think he's going to beat Logan Paul at WrestleMania. That's my guess. Ryan, if you've got a question, pop it in. Kelly says, we have to remember that Nintendo actually owns the rights to the Super Mario film, so they've gotten the green light to do any new film. Yeah, it's definitely much in Nintendo's power for that one. Right. Okay. So there we go. So we've reached the end of the questions. So feel free for the last ditch. If you've got any last minute questions, feel free to send them in. Because if not, then that'll be the end of it. So again, next week we'll be back live again at the same time. I'm carrying on as normal, usual time. Now the time zones and stuff are aligned again, so that's good. Throughout the week, Monday through Saturday, there will be a new episode of the What's on Disney Plus news. Depending on if there's anything major, they might be individual videos as well, but that's only really if it's major. I'm really hoping obviously Thursday will be when I go through any of the details from the quarterly, because like my time is like 9 o'clock at night on Wednesday, so I'll do that then. But yeah, so that's the plan for the week. Kayla said there's a Marvel's promotion during Monday Night Football tomorrow on ABC. Yes, I heard that there's a trailer. That there might be some kind of tease. I wouldn't be at all surprised if they tease somebody else turning up in it to try and get some extra ones coming in. Ryan says, could Disney sell off its assets? Yes, they are definitely looking to sell some of their assets off. Right, on that note, guys, thank you so much for your continued support. Thank you to everyone for joining in live on the live chat. Thank you to everyone that's in there. Speak hello to Ryan, Caleb. We've also got Keenan, Kyle. We've also got Noxwave, Chris, Ryan, Ricardo. So big thank you to all of you. Thank you very much. And I shall see you guys tomorrow. Later.